What's up, everyone? This is George from Your Local Musician, and this is episode 7 of the Beats in My Bedroom podcast. Jesus Christ, the world is in absolute chaos right now, isn't it? The coronavirus just feels like it's come so quickly and just out of nowhere. Personally, for me, I don't pay too much attention to the news, but how can you have not noticed something like this? It's crazy right now, isn't it? Now, I'm no doctor. I don't know the ins and outs of all of that. But what I can speak on is what I've been seeing a little bit on social media here and there with some of these influencers out there that are kind of using this situation to obviously promote their services further, because obviously more and more people are at home now, and more people are working from home, less people are out in the office, more people are on their computers, so your attention is obviously on Facebook, is obviously on Instagram, and obviously that's a massive opportunity for loads of people, and it's not necessarily a negative thing. Is it positive? I don't know. But I kind of wanted to inject some of my personal advice into what I've seen those people sort of talk about. The Legion Beats, for example, Addo Domination. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but obviously I've heard him speak a little bit on this. Everyone's on about it, and everyone's sort of saying use the time to focus on building your brand and really knuckle down on your online business and what you can do to basically use the extra time to build your brand. And you know what? You see a lot of these videos everywhere about building a brand. Everyone uses that term, building a brand. But what does that actually mean? What does it actually mean when it comes down to doing something practical to actually build your brand? What are some of the things that you can do? Well, building a brand is simply gaining attention. It's gaining an audience, and you can do that in several ways. You can do that on YouTube. You can upload mass amounts of videos, or you can obviously build your own website. One thing that's worked quite well for me, although there's about 30 views per video on this channel, the one thing that works pretty well for me is actually my website on its own, and all of the how-to guides, all of the tutorials on there. I've found quite a bit of success in writing. Not really social media. Why do I do it? I do it because ultimately, at the end of the day, if anyone becomes a fan of me, it doesn't matter how many views a video's got. All I really care about is that they've got an archive of things to look at, and that I take incredibly seriously. So what are some things that you can do to ultimately build your brand over a period of time and get ahead? As I've said in previous episodes of this podcast, scheduling is a big thing. For instance, these podcasts, they're not done week on week. They are done in bulk. I am juggling a job right now as well, so I do all of this in my free time. It's not like I'm doing this 9 to 5. Scheduling is extremely important because that allows you to basically, obviously, work on a bunch of content at once and then schedule them to go out at specific times. So it looks like you're more active than you probably are. But what are some things that you can do to essentially build your brand in a way that's best for you? Some things you can try are obviously YouTube, Facebook, and let's say, for instance, obviously you're selling beats online. An untapped market is obviously doing how-to videos. Everyone's trying to grow a YouTube channel, and yes, YouTube does have insane amounts of opportunities out there for you to become known and your brand to be obvious, and for your brand to just go fucking mental. But for me, I do feel like it is kind of, there's a lot of people doing it, and the marketing that I've always focused on is marketing sort of driven on intent rather than virality, stuff that just goes, like, obviously if you go viral, that is going to be insanely good for you. The power of an intent-driven audience is just crazy, because basically someone will find you in a way where they have in their mind they want the service that you're offering, and they have found you because they are looking for it. So for instance, SEO, that is for me the most intent-driven way to find someone. If I'm looking for a local hairdressers, or if I'm trying to sell hip-hop beats and I find you at the top of Google, that's for me an extremely good sign that you deliver on the service that I am wanting, and I'm going to go to you first. That's just the way it is these days. And you can obviously build a brand in different ways, and for instance, my man Curtis King, obviously I think primarily he's sort of built his name through his YouTube channel, and it's worked out well for him. He now has a very big personal brand because of it, whereas for me, my career in SEO, for instance, building sites based off of that entirely and building brands off of that entirely, is just the obvious choice for me to choose. Why would I really try much else or put more of my effort into other things when I know I know the formula to this one thing, and I know it will work? It costs lots of time and money, but then again, so does YouTube. People say it's free, but to really promote it and get it out there, sometimes it's not always free, because it does require a lot of your time. The currency in which you're exchanging may not always be money, but regardless of any of that, if you're trying to build brand, it's going to take your time, and that's a currency that is hard to exchange sometimes, because it means you have to sacrifice a lot of time with people, with your loved ones, with your family, and it's hard. So it's hard, but if you want to get there, obviously you've got to put the time in, and if you don't, you won't get there. It's quite as easy and as sort of simple as that. So while we're in this pandemic, or whatever it is, what are some things that you can do to just further yourself along and to grab the attention of people? Bulk do videos, come up with lots and lots of ideas of videos, and use this time, if you are working from home yourself, because not everyone is. I'm in the UK, I'm still going to work, but some people aren't. Use this time to basically bulk do videos, write loads of how to tutorials, and use this time to sort of get ahead. And everything takes time, and it's up to you to utilize it. So I don't know if this was helpful, guys, but if you've been enjoying the podcast so far, please, if you're on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or Google's or anything like that, in any way that you can leave a review, please leave a review. I suggest a 5-star, but that's just me. I nicked that from Curtis King. But please make sure to subscribe, follow, and share, and I will see you in episode 8.